to the Beer and Inks podcast. My name is Jessica, and I'm here with Ryan. And today we're going to be talking about weird childhood obsessions that we had.
Do they have to be weird? Like, I think like normal childhood obsession. Well, maybe they're a little weird.
I guess I specified weird because I feel like mine are weird.
Well, you are kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of.
So, maybe.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Everything's so interesting.
Very interesting.
We're keeping up with our interesting use words.
I feel like maybe it was just me, but I feel like every kid, they go through phases of just being really obsessed with something like super random.
Yeah, like Keegan being obsessed with Frozen right now.
I wouldn't say he's obsessed with Frozen. He's been obsessed with rockets for a long time.
Well, yeah.
Long time.
But I've never seen a rocket make him cry. Does he cry? He doesn't cry every time, right?
No, just when he first watched Frozen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like really deeply emotional kids movies. And Keegan is so precious that if he sees something that's really like emotionally stirring, he will cry, like silent tears, not like sob.
Yeah.
But I remember during Lilo and Stitch, when we first watched that movie, when she's on the hammock and they're singing that song because she's gonna leave the next day.
Oh yeah.
I looked over at Keegan and he just had silent tears streaming down his face. And he was feeling so much at that moment. It was so precious.
McKenna was crying the other day too.
Oh yes, McKenna has cried at movies as well. We just have really sensitive children. I don't know. I don't remember ever crying at a movie when I was a kid.
I don't know if maybe I did. I'm not sure how emotional I was.
Yeah, I don't know if that's normal. Can any parents out there like confirm or deny if that is normal for kids to cry at movies?
I assume it is, but yeah. So like my, I guess, weird obsession.
Oh yeah. What's one of your weird obsessions?
So I was obsessed with my scooter as a kid.
Nice.
I think I either got it for my birthday or Christmas. I don't remember, but they got me this scooter. I don't think I was able to ride my bike yet, so it was like a good like in between thing for me. But they got me wheels for it.
How old were you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't even guess. I was little. But the wheels like lit up.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
And I got like a light for it too. That like went on the handlebars.
Nice.
It was super cool. But I would ride for hours just in circles in the backyard, and I'd be playing in my head is what I called it, just like imagination. Mm-hmm. But like my siblings would want to play, and I would be like, go away. Like I get annoyed with them because I was playing in my head or whatever. And my mom would be like, oh, you need to come in. I'm like, oh no, in 10 more minutes my story's not done or whatever.
Oh, that's
so like
so
my
cute.
whole
You were
like
telling yourself stories.
I don't know if I was telling myself them. I was making them up.
Well, yeah, that's telling yourself a story.
Yeah. So I was lying to myself for hours.
No, don't say it like that.
As I rode around in circles, escaping reality as a young child, I guess. I don't know. But it was very heavily inspired by Star Wars, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like all my games in my head were like space battles and stuff. But yeah, that was a lot of bruised shins from like swinging that thing around. And
dude, yes. Are scooters still the same nowadays?
I think so.
I feel like they're so dangerous.
Do you remember the braking system on a scooter? Like if you didn't use your foot, like on the ground.
Oh yeah,
so it's just a piece
it had
of metal.
that thing in the back wheel. You just had to like step on it.
Yeah, but if you weren't wearing shoes,
why would you not be wearing shoes
well, I was like
while
never,
riding a scooter?
I like never wore shoes. I don't think outside, like 95% of the time.
Oh, I take it back. I'm pretty sure there have been times I've been riding a scooter barefoot.
Yeah, but it like heats up, and it'll burn the crap out of your foot. Like if you're not careful, you're better off just like setting it down on the concrete. And
yeah, I think that's what most people did.
Yeah, But I rode that scooter so much that the bearings failed on the wheels, and they had to get me new wheels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I rode it so much that I would brake all the time, so I'd have uneven like spots in the wheels, so it'd just like be super bumpy. And then I think I went through 2 or 3 sets of wheels on that thing. I probably left it out too, and it got run over by my dad, but it's a different story, I guess.
That's funny. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, what happened to all those old like outside toys you play with as a kid? They just eventually disappear.
We sold a lot of ours at like garage sales and stuff.
Okay.
Like as we got older, yeah. Or you know, they get rusty or whatever, and you toss them. But
yeah,
I remember like the height adjustment would break on a lot of our stuff.
Mine would always like rust, probably because we left it out.
Yeah, if you just left it out in the rain, it wouldn't last very long. But
I remember, so we lived on kind of a sketchy street when I was little. And so when I would ride my bike or my scooter, it had to only be on like the sidewalk. And I could only ride like 2 or 3 houses down and turn around in their driveway because we knew who those neighbors were. So we knew they weren't like crazy people. So I could only go as far as their house, and then I had to come back.
I just rode around the backyard, but we had a lot of like paved area.
Well, we had a big backyard too when I was little.
But was it like paved or just...
Yeah, it was like a detached garage, and then it had a huge like concrete pad. It had like a basketball hoop and everything too.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty cool. But for some reason we chose to drive in the front yard because we liked being rebellious and living life on the edge. We're like, this is the boundary. We must go right up to it.
I guess. I don't know. We never rode you couldn't ride in the street with the scooter anyways, because like if you hit one rock, I mean, you're going over the handlebars.
Going flying.
Yeah. Have you seen those like hoverboards now? Or like the one wheels?
I've seen them. I don't know if I've seen someone riding them.
So they got like the hoverboards, air quotes. It's got like 2 wheels, and you just lean forward to go.
Oh yeah.
And back. And then they have these things called one wheels now, which look really cool, and it's just like it's like a skateboard orientation, but the whole center is a wheel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
Slide around on that thing, and they can go like 20 miles an hour or something.
That sounds dangerous.
They have off-roading versions.
I remember I really, really wanted a pair of like moon shoes. Do you remember those?
No.
You don't remember those? Oh my gosh. They were like, I always saw like the infomercial like advertising them, and I always wanted them.
What
they're
are they?
They're basically like a trampoline for each foot. Like a separate trampoline for each foot, and you would just like jump on them. And I always would ask my mom, and she'd be like, "No, we're not getting those."
Super weird.
I'm pretty sure I heard that someone had gotten hurt with them.
How do they get hurt?
I don't know. It was an early 2000s thing. But I always wanted them, and I never got them.
Oh no.
I know.
Poor Jessica.
Okay, well, the first weird childhood obsession that I'm going to talk about is monkeys. So in the first grade, I was weirdly obsessed with monkeys.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about that?
No, it sounds weird.
I would like cut out pictures of monkeys and like glue them on my notebooks and stuff.
Who is supplying you with these pictures of monkeys?
I don't know. They were
I
just
doubt you were going
around.
online and printing them out yourself on your dial-up.
No, I didn't like print them out. I just would like find them.
I don't know. You would find them.
I don't know.
Again,
I don't know how I gained access to all these pictures of monkeys.
Who was supplying these monkeys to you?
Someone must have been. But yeah, and then I would collect.
Dude, it was probably your aunt. Sorry.
Probably.
It was probably your aunt.
I would collect like toy monkeys too, like the stuffed animal monkeys.
Oh,
where they had like the
did you have
Velcro
like
hands.
monkeys in a barrel too?
I don't know about monkeys in a barrel, but I had a lot of stuffed monkeys, and I would hang them around the house. And then for I think it was my 9th birthday, I wanted to go to the zoo for my birthday instead of a party. So we went to the zoo, and I got to see all the monkeys. That was my favorite part. I don't know. I was just weirdly obsessed with monkeys.
Yeah.
They're a pretty cool animal. Like, at least it wasn't like something lame.
Isn't that Keegan's stuffed animal too? Is that thing a monkey?
It's a frog.
Oh.
I don't know how you got monkey out of that.
It just looks awkward. I don't even know what it is.
It's a frog.
It's a frog.
Yes.
Okay, we'll disregard. I was gonna say it's genetic, but I guess not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It doesn't have a tail, Ryan. And also it's green.
Yeah.
So
You ever see a green monkey?
no. But yeah, I would watch like the Jungle Book and like, I don't know, just like videos about like the jungle, and I just thought it was so cool. It was a whole like aesthetic. It was a vibe.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Odd choice, but okay. It's not even anything cool like a snake.
They're so
like
cool. And like,
what do you mean? How are they cool, though?
cool. Like specifically orangutans too. Oh, that's really what it was. So I would watch like Animal Planet.
Isn't an orangutan an ape, not a monkey?
Okay, apes, monkeys, whatever. It was all the same in my mind. But I would watch the Animal Planet, and I would be like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I just like watch so many episodes about like monkeys at the zoo or in the wild. And then I would like research it. Like whenever we went to the library, I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta check out a book of monkeys."
This is making so much more sense now.
Which is so funny because I kind of could care less about them now. But you know, when you're a kid, something is so cool. You're just like, you want to learn all about it.
I don't know. I don't know if I share the sentiment. I don't remember being obsessed, like super obsessed with things in general.
Huh. Maybe it's just something that me and my family experienced, because I remember my little brother had a few obsessions too.
I'm curious if that stems from like your parents feeding that like a lot. They're like,
maybe.
Jessica loves monkeys, so we're gonna
supply
her
and
with
this thing. Yeah.
all this monkey stuff, and like your brother with or I guess both of you really with the whole Titanic stuff.
Oh yeah, Matthew had an obsession with the Titanic.
Did?
Not
Okay.
the movie, although the movie did become part of it, like the clips of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But like he was obsessed with the actual
Like event.
historical Titanic and how it sank and everything. And he was like 5.
Yeah.
But he knew so much about it. He would like build model ships, and he would listen to the soundtrack, and he would reenact the like
scenes.
the event. Yeah. Which sounds super like weird now that I'm saying it. But that was just a thing that happened at our house.
Broking. Yeah, I'm curious if that that stems from being, just not overly maybe, but just in general. They're like, "Oh, we're going to give you all these printouts of monkeys and stuffed animals,
Yeah, I don't know.
all this stuff."
But, it made me into the person I am today. So you're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I think the only other thing, not the only other thing, but there's a lot of stuff that I was really into that I would say my parents would limit me on. They weren't trying to
They didn't feed the fire.
Yeah, and it was smart of them, right? Because for video games, honestly, as a kid, you need that outlet is for fun, but it's not contributing necessarily to your life or your well-being,
Mm-hmm.
So you got to limit that, just like you limit your candy intake.
Well, yeah.
It's not necessary for life or learning or growing. But the other thing that I had that I really enjoyed was our trampoline. And I remember the first day we got it, took us forever to set up because my dad is notoriously bad at following directions. So he basically is like your standard dad. I don't know. He's like, I don't need instructions. I know what I'm doing. So I remember we were putting on the springs. Well, he was putting on the springs. I was little. I was in the 3rd grade, I think, at the time. And because you're supposed to do, one spring on one side, go across, and then start working like opposite each other.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't get all like 50 springs on one side, and then you're fighting all 50 springs to hook up the other side.
Yeah.
Nope. He just started at one spot and then went to the next one next to it. So by the time he got to the opposite side, he was having a terrible time getting this thing put all together. But it had like this cover for the springs, like ours does in the backyard. He's like, you don't need that. They like throws that away. There's no net at this point. I don't think nets were like, they didn't come standard. You had to pay extra for that. They weren't just like standard nets with these trampolines. So we set up this trampoline, and I remember we jumped on it like all day long, and we had pizza for dinner. And I woke up that night and I felt terrible.
Oh, yes. I know this story.
Absolutely terrible. And I went and asked my mom for like medicine because my stomach hurt. And she's like, oh, you jumped on the trampoline all day. You had pizza. You got, you just got acid reflux or whatever.
Yeah.
Go take a Tums. So I probably came back 4 or 5 times. Maybe not even that many. Maybe 2 or 3 times that night asking for medicine. She's like, take another Tums. Take another Tums. I remember sleeping in the hallway because I felt like I was burning up, and it was cooler just to lay on the floor. But I wasn't allowed to like sleep in my parents' room at that point. So they were like,
well, yeah, you're in the 3rd grade, so they're like, come
get
on,
out.
dude.
Well, they wouldn't even let me sleep at like the foot of their bed.
Aww.
They were like, get out. So the next morning, Mom's like, he's still not feeling good. Take him to the doctor. Doctor's like, take him to the ER because he has appendicitis.
Appendicitis.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, get it out that day, and I couldn't jump on the trampoline for 3 months.
Oh, so sad.
I got to jump on it one day, and then I had to wait 3 months to jump on it again. But
at least you got the one day, though.
Yeah, but it's hard to watch your siblings like go and jump on it and be all happy.
Torture.
Yeah, it was torturous. But yeah, like I guess the like increase in activity, because when I say we jumped on it all day, like they let us go ham. Like
they're like,
from
burn off
whatever
some
time,
energy.
probably like 3 p.m. to like 9. We even ate the pizza on the trampoline. We didn't even leave the trampoline. So
see, that does sound like a kid thing to do.
it was the greatest. Yeah, it was probably the greatest day ever. Like the trampoline was awesome. And after I recovered and everything, played on it all the time. Had a lot of fun games that we would play on it and things we made up. But eventually the the like trampoline part, the mesh or whatever, it's not rubber, but it's like some sort of mesh that you actually jump on.
Mm-hmm.
The tabs that wrapped around around the brackets that you attach the springs to, or the clamps or whatever, would snap. And so we'd send, because they were rotting, because it was so old, and so springs would just go like flying into the neighbor's yard. Like I'm pretty sure a couple ended up on our neighbor's like the roof of their house.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, and we just kept jumping on it until it finally collapsed.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it collapsed with Tyler on it.
I remember, so I don't know if it was the same trampoline, but the first time I came over to your house and hung out, we jumped on the trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we were out there
that was
playing
probably
on
our
it.
3rd one.
Your 3rd trampoline?
Yeah, we burnt through them.
You've gone through 3 trampolines?
Well, from the 3rd grade until senior year in high school. I mean, that's what, 9 years? So trampoline every 3 years. That's about right.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't like, oh, this one's old, let's go get a new one.
It was like, I can no longer jump on this because
collapse.
It's broken.
Yeah. And you could keep the frame, you just had to buy a new mesh
well,
part
because they
and new
used one of the
springs.
frames for a chicken coop, right?
Yeah. We recycled, renewable. Yeah.
Yes.
We put up the,
how
because
ingenuitive.
one of the later ones we actually had the netting for. It had to have been the third one. Maybe the second one we also had netting, but the first one was definitely not.
The one that I
dangerous.
jumped on had netting.
Yeah. So the one that they make the chicken coop out of, we just kept the poles for the netting.
And you put
and
the
they took chicken wire all the way around and make it like a, what do they call it? An aviary.
Yeah.
And had just a bunch of chickens in there. So it was a good time.
It's really cute. They still have it.
Mm-hmm. Got some weird chickens in there.
I love
They
the
have, like,
chickens that your parents have.
Fluffy feathers on their feet.
Yes, they have feathery feet.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Super weird.
They used to have bunnies in there too, right?
Yeah, I think the dogs ate them though.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah. It's kind of
so sad.
Yeah. Well, I think they actually lost a couple chickens because they got left out recently. And
remember when that one year when we took our dogs with us
was
to
it Merlin
visit?
or Hazel that ate
and
one?
Hazel
Yeah.
ate a chicken.
Well, she didn't kill it, right? It was just in her mouth, and it lived, right? Or
I
did
thought
it die?
she killed it.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe
she
she
did.
killed it. She's a murderer, so.
I mean, she's a dog, so.
She's a little psychotic too, so.
I just want to know how she got a hold of it.
I'm pretty sure they were out.
Were they?
Yeah. So this chicken coop is ingenious, right? So we put like, well, I didn't, but our first edition or first like making it, we'd made a door. I forget how we made a door, but now the door is really janky. So my dad took an old screen door, and you can it's like a legit framed door.
Yeah, you just open the door into the chicken
aviary
coop thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So but you can let them out, and then they'll all come back in. You just close the door.
Oh, so they were probably just out.
I imagine they were, or there was like a hole or something.
It happened when we were at my family's house, and we came back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Hazel, she killed a chicken," and we're like, "What?" Because she's like such a gentle dog.
Yeah,
and
so gentle.
She is. She's very gentle, very patient, and like calm most of the time. Just wants to hide and be pet.
She just has anxiety.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
But she's always been that way. She was the runt of her litter.
Poor thing.
I know.
And Merlin attacked her. Remember? You would walk out in the backyard to Hazel screaming, and Merlin would have her in his mouth.
Yeah, when we first got Hazel, our husky Merlin was, I think, a year already. Yeah. And I'm surprised she survived because he was kind of a bully towards her.
Yeah, he's a big bully.
But now they're great. They're best buds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my next weird childhood obsession, I don't know how you're going to react to this, but I'm super curious. I used to be strangely obsessed with stories about orphans from the early 1900s.
Again, I feel like most of these things do not stem from you, but sure.
No, for real though. I don't think my parents fed into this one either that much. But I had the Samantha American Girl doll. Do you know what American Girl dolls were?
No.
I don't know if they're still around. So there were these dolls that you could get, and they each had stories that came with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were girls from different eras of America. And I think Samantha was the earliest one you could get. But she was an orphan who lived at that time, and that was her time period. And so maybe that's where it stemmed from.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, I just would seek out stories and movies of orphans from that time period. And I would write my own stories too.
Weird.
Which I don't think I ever completed them, but I remember I would like write out my outline of what I wanted my story to be. And it was always like, child, they're orphaned, they live here. And I would just like plan out this scenario in my head, but then like hardly ever actually like write it.
Yeah, super weird. I don't.
But like, okay, there is a lot of fiction and like movies and stuff about that.
Like what?
It's just, I can't think of a whole bunch of stuff right off the top of my head. Samantha would be the first one, but there's a bunch of them. And I remember I would just like eat those up. I was like, yes, this is like my niche.
Again, who is supplying you with these things, man? It's so weird.
I don't know. I'd find them.
Like the library? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Because we didn't just Google things back in the day.
I mean, you could if you had a computer. Did you have a computer growing up?
Did. Not like my own computer.
But you had one like in the home.
Yeah, I had dial-up. I played RuneScape.
Nice.
It'd take like 30 minutes to load.
Yeah, so we had like, usually it would be like either in the kitchen or in like an office room. And it was like the computer.
They just let you like go on the web though?
Yeah. I was like,
Okay.
oh, I want to look something up. And they're
No.
like, okay.
No, that was not how that worked at all. It was, what are you playing?
Well, I didn't
This
want to
one
go to
thing, you
play
cannot
things.
change.
I wanted to go to research,
Yeah,
Ryan.
but we couldn't change the page without like asking.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That wouldn't have been good for me because I was hopping all over the place.
Yeah. Well, it's just why you're so weird.
Maybe this explains a lot
Yeah.
now. No, but I remember Ryan getting our first computer
Yeah.
when I was 5. It was like a big deal.
So
That makes me feel super old.
my parents had a computer in our first house, and I remember I'd play like weird like learning games or whatever on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember like getting it. I was little. We already had it. But then when we moved, the computer obviously came with us. But yeah, it was just like, I remember bringing home, because we had computer lab in kindergarten, or was it kindergarten? Maybe first grade.
I highly doubt you had computer lab in kindergarten.
It had to have been first grade. But you remember the Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
Dude, so I downloaded it. Piracy. This is before I guess they had like protections on discs or whatever, and I copied the whole game to a floppy disk.
You would.
To like several floppy disks, like maybe not the whole game. I don't remember, because I thought maybe it was the older Oregon Trail. I don't know. It might have only been one of the discs I was able to get on a floppy drive, and I brought it home and I was able to play Oregon Trail at home. Someone may have helped me. I imagine someone did help me with that. I also had what are those? Do you remember those like little green guys that would like walk and you had to build bridges for them so they could get to the end, otherwise they die?
No.
I forget what it's called. It's like Flemings maybe?
I have no memory of that. That was not anything that I encountered.
Yeah. But yeah, I was pretty obsessed with like computer games and computers.
See, you were obsessed with something.
But I was severely limited.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good thing.
In the beginning, obviously it lessened as I got older. Eventually, because we got Minecraft, and that was like back when Notch was still selling it from his like house or whatever in the UK.
You got like the early version.
We had to PayPal Notch personally.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or I guess not personally, his business or whatever personally, but it came on my mom's like credit card as like like some sort of service in the UK. So they declined her card because they're like, the fraud department called her and they're like, what are you trying to buy? And she's like, oh, it's this video game for my kid. They're just like, whatever, okay. So that was like my first like real game that I remember on a computer. We did have consoles.
Oh, I've got a great story to tell. Can I tell it?
Is it about your console woes?
Yes. So, one of my friends had like a Wii, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this thing's cool. Look at all these cool games you could play on here. So I convinced my parents to get me and my brother a Wii for Christmas. So we got a Wii. I had a whole bunch of games I loved playing on that thing. And then one day I come home and my mom and my brother are like, oh yeah, we traded the Wii in for like this other thing. I don't even remember what it was. Oh, it was an Xbox. And I was like, okay, can I play my games? They're like, oh, no, I don't think they have those for this. And I was like, are you kidding me? So you guys just like did this? Now I can't play any of the games that I wanted. And yeah.
You got it for your birthday?
No, it was for both
Christmas.
of us for Christmas.
Okay.
But then Matthew got an upgrade to something and I was left with nothing. I guess I could have like found games to play on the Xbox, but I was so bitter. I was like, no.
You did eventually. You played what, like Just Dance?
Yeah. I played a lot of Just Dance.
With like
was that on the Xbox?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the
that was in
ones.
high school. So when we got the Wii, it was, I think I was like in the 6th grade, and Matthew was in elementary.
Yeah.
But yeah, sad day.
Yeah, you weren't there to defend your console.
I couldn't even. I wasn't even there. They didn't even give me a chance.
Yeah. I mean, definitely an upgrade in that sense.
Oh, well, sure. If you're
Hardware-wise.
like a gaming person.
Which your brother is, so.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Or was. I don't know what he does now.
Who knows? Who knows what he does now?
But yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Do you want me to share some more? I've got
no.
plenty. I was a strange kid.
Well, as long as we're not talking about orphans anymore, I guess it can't get worse.
Okay, but like, here's the thing. I think there's so many good stories about orphans because it's hard to write like a thrilling adventure story about a kid with great parents that are like, oh yeah, you need to be home when the streetlights turn on. Like, come home when it's dark. Like, that's really hard to write a story. So what they do is they're just like, oh yeah, this kid's parents died. So no one's worrying about them when they're off doing this thing.
Well, yeah. Why does that appeal to kids? Because they're like, oh yes, I wish my parents were dead.
Sense of freedom. No, not like in a like weird sadistic way, but like, I don't have anyone who's controlling me anymore.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's probably what it is.
I guess.
But okay, so another weird obsession that I had is Taylor Swift. I was obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Dude, I had a Taylor Swift poster.
You have it currently?
Oh, had.
Oh, I was going to be like, that's so cool. No, not hang it up, but I want to see. What if it's worth something?
I think it got thrown away eventually. It was a gag gift.
Oh, I was going to say, how did you acquire this? Did you actually like want a picture of Taylor Swift?
I was like begging my parents for Modern Warfare 2.
Uh-huh.
For whatever console we had. But I was like begging them for it. And I'm pretty sure this is what happened. My memory might be off on this one. But they gave me the case for Modern Warfare 2. And you open it up and the CD wasn't in there. But there's just like a folded up poster. Like big poster of Taylor Swift.
That's super random. And you kept it?
I didn't hang it up. Like I just.
Okay. When you said I had a poster of Taylor Swift, I pictured like on the back of your door, like on the ceiling above your bed. So when you wake up, like the first thing you see is Taylor Swift.
My dad had like a life-size cut out of Danica Patrick though.
I have no idea.
The GoDaddy like NASCAR driver person.
Still have no idea.
I don't think she even drives anymore. But. He was like, yeah, she's so cool.
That's a little weird. I feel like your dad just wakes up every day and just chooses like chaos.
And chooses chaos. He's like chaotic. He's chaotic neutral. Is that what we're going with?
I would say chaotic good.
Chaotic good. Is there like a pessimism category for me?
What do you mean?
What am I categorized as?
You would be... Wait, so what are my options? I don't have the chart with me.
I don't know. We need a chart.
You're definitely neutral. Definitely neutral. But are you chaotic?
I don't know.
I don't know. You are kind of a wild card sometimes.
Yeah, my dad's definitely chaotic good.
Your dad's definitely chaotic good.
Yeah. He's just like, today we're going to like clean gutters and it'll be like pouring rain. And he's like, I don't care, clean the gutters. And you're just like, okay.
But again, Ryan, it made you into who you are today.
Yeah, forged by fire and incredible odds.
But yeah, I was obsessed with Taylor Swift and her music.
What did you like about her music?
I don't know, just...
Didn't you go to a concert?
No, I was not allowed to go to a concert because of reasons that I can't remember.
So your friend got you tickets.
Yes. So my good friend Shay bought me tickets for Christmas to a Taylor Swift concert. Like, we were going to go together. And my mom was like, no, I don't want you going. And I was like, really? Because, like, she bought these for me. And, like, her mom's going to be with us. And she's like, no, I don't feel like it's safe. Like, can you picture a bunch of, like, 11-year-olds, like, mosh pitting in a Taylor Swift concert? I guess it could happen.
Maybe now.
Well, I don't know what her concerts are like now, probably.
Back then,
I haven't listened to her recent stuff, but probably not back then. Her audience was, like, young, like 11 years old. I mean, that's how old I was. So.
Yeah, she was still like a...
I'm talking old Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
like
kids,
teardrops on my guitar.
Kids Bop
Taylor Swift,
yeah. Or whatever.
Our song.
Because she was only like,
that's like pre-Love Story.
She's
like,
only a couple years older than us, yeah? Like 2 or 3 years older than us.
I don't know. I think she's in her 30s.
No.
She started making music when she was like 16.
Finally,
all of my Taylor Swift knowledge has a purpose now.
Her
first album came out when she was 16. I was probably 11. So she's 5 years older than us.
Oh, she's 31.
Yeah.
Dang.
See, she's 5 years older than
that.
us. She's the same age as Adele. I'm pretty sure.
Political views suck.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. Wait, she's the same age as who? Adele?
Adele.
Because Adele came to like fame a little bit later. She was
older,
right?
Yeah.
Because she was a producer or a songwriter.
I don't know. I don't have random Adele facts stored in my memory.
I remember the Kaczynskis were really like all about her.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sarah specifically. Maybe not Sarah. Maybe it might have been Ski. I don't know. But I remember them listening to, I think they bought her first album or whatever, and they're like so good.
Yeah. I mean, her music is really good.
Mm-hmm. And she was on, was it The Voice?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Judge, and she was always like really positive or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know. You always made me watch all those episodes of The Voice.
I don't remember her ever being on The Voice.
Oh, maybe
when I watched it.
Maybe it was a different one. I don't know.
But yeah, I just remember like having this irrational desire to want to be a country singer, even though I had no musical ability and I didn't really like music, but I just wanted to be a country singer. Like
that's
I wanted
so far-fetched. I can't even imagine you being a country singer.
I actually took guitar lessons for like probably like 2 months.
I'm just kidding.
No, like 2 months. I went like 8 times probably.
What happened to your guitar?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened to it. But my grandpa had bought it at a garage sale and they just like had it in their house, and I was like right in the middle of my Taylor Swift obsession, so I was like, I want to play the guitar like Taylor Swift. And then finally he was like, do you want this? And I was like, yes. But then I started to realize, like, oh, playing the guitar takes a lot of work. This is kind of difficult.
Yeah. I remember I had an acoustic guitar and someone broke all the strings on it. And then I don't know if like...
Oh, yeah. No, tell that story, because I feel like that, I don't know why. Some of the stories that you tell me sometimes, I just connect with on like a spiritual level. Like, you'll say something and I'm like, I feel like I've lived that. Tell that story of the kid who cut your guitar strings.
So we had like a Bible study or I don't know, something.
Yeah, of course it had to happen at an in-home Bible study.
I assume there was a lot of kids. I don't remember who all was there, but I remember I had an acoustic guitar in my closet, and I went to get it like the day after this Bible study, and someone had cut and or just broken all the strings, every single string on the acoustic guitar. And I don't know if my parents were just like didn't know about just getting new strings and how like cheap that really was, or if it was broken beyond repair. Like, I don't remember, but I remember just threw the whole thing away.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just devastated.
Oh, like, poor little Ryan.
And that kind of sums up.
Were you like learning how to play?
No, of course not. What?
So you just had it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the different like instruments I had growing up, because I had that guitar, but it's not like I took lessons. And I don't know if I asked for lessons or anything. But I had a piano. And
like
then
a whole piano?
Like an upright, like we had in Mountain Home.
Oh,
piano.
Nice.
And it got sold.
How did you acquire this piano?
My dad got it for me.
For you?
Yeah, and it needed work.
Did you ask for one?
I wanted piano lessons. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. You've taken piano lessons.
Yeah, I took piano lessons for like 3 or 4 years. And
that's super intense. I took piano lessons for like, I think 6 months.
Well, I didn't have the best attitude. Well, we had a piano recital every year too, so I like performed.
Wait, you performed at piano recitals?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that. Wait, so okay, this changes everything. So you legitimately played piano as a kid?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought you were just like, oh yeah, I took some lessons.
I wasn't like good.
I thought you were on my level where it's like, oh yeah, my neighbor plays piano and she'll give me lessons for free, so I go over there a couple times.
No, I could like straight up sight read music and.
Okay,
and
this
stuff.
Explains why you can actually read music.
I don't know if I could do like, because I was young. I don't know if I could do like anything super difficult, but I could definitely read.
You could do some
read and
stuff,
play music. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and I didn't practice very often, and my parents never like. They didn't get like mad at me for not practicing or anything. So, my piano teacher actually moved away, and I had to get this new piano teacher. And this new piano teacher was like, "You need to practice 3 hours a day and like not play outside."
Whatever,
or something, and it just killed my like any
You're like, no, I like playing outside.
Yeah, any like little bit of like steam I had to actually play. And I remember shortly after that I stopped going to lessons, and then the piano got sold. And I wasn't happy about it being gone, but I think if I had a different teacher, I probably would have kept up with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did take, or I was in band in middle school and high school. But I just played percussion. And I even play like the drum set. I just like played the snare or just the bass. Or
I remember
whatever.
When we first started dating, there was like a winter concert or something, and you were on the drums, or maybe not drums. How do I say it? What'd you call it? The snare.
Was it the single drum or like the 5?
It was a single drum.
Yeah, just like a snare.
So you were playing that in the high school group. Tyler was playing that in the middle school group, and Josh was playing it in the elementary group.
Everyone
And it
was in
was
band.
super cool. It was really sweet.
Band was great.
Like every drum is played by an Otis boy.
Well, I don't know if Josh played the drums or not.
Well, I specifically remember.
Hmm.
I was like, and no one was talking about it, and I was like, wait. And you guys all looked so much alike back then too.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this the Matrix? Like, what's going on
It's
here?
just the different generations of Ryan or whatever.
These are the generations of Ryan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've always been involved in something musically,
Yeah.
except,
I remember writing
like
song
I've dabbled in
lyrics.
stuff, but I don't think I've ever, like, sincerely and, like, seriously
Oh, like pursued yeah.
anything. And that's what sucks, because it's like, yeah, great, you know, you have a keyboard or you have a guitar or whatever, but I never, like, committed, so.
Yeah. I remember maybe not being super into music, like the musical side of it, but I remember writing song lyrics in middle school and like poetry and stuff. I don't know. I've liked like writing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember I kept like a journal. I think I was in like the 5th grade. Is the longest journal I've ever kept. And I read it a couple of years ago when I found it. And I like personally love some of the stuff I wrote in there, some of the poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one page where I was like, I am as petty as a mushroom in the forest. And I read that and I was like, oh, this is just art right
So
here.
deep.
So deep.
Yeah.
Do you have any other strange obsessions?
No, I don't think so.
That was it?
That was it.
So you were a pretty typical kid.
I guess.
And I was not.
Yeah, you're a weirdo. That's for sure.
I don't know. I feel like monkeys, honestly, that's pretty typical child obsession.
Yeah.
Like every kid loves
I love
monkeys.
like animals and stuff. I remember I watched like the National Geographic Channel or whatever, and there was this blue snake, right? And so in kindergarten, they're like coloring the snake with like the colors that it would actually be in the wild. And I was like, oh, big brain. I know there's a blue snake somewhere in the world, so I colored him blue. And I failed the assignment in kindergarten, and my teacher was like, there's no such thing as a blue snake. And I was like, are you kidding me, teacher?
You should have been like, lady, I saw it on TV.
So it must be true.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I have a funny story to tell. I remember getting in trouble for coloring outside the lines in kindergarten.
Did you have the same teacher as me? I don't remember.
For the second half, because I switched schools in the middle of my kindergarten year.
Yeah.
So I like they meshed together in my memories. I don't know which is which. So it might have been the same teacher.
She was
Freaking
strict.
Mrs. Hoss-Ellison.
Yeah, super strict.
No, she was a nice lady.
She slammed my head into a table. I think she tripped or something. But she didn't even say sorry. She just like
She's just like,
grabbed
oh,
my
you're there.
back of my head for like support. And like I wasn't ready. I'm a little kindergartner, so my face gets smushed into a table. And then she just like walks off like it was nothing.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That would happen to you.
I never trusted a teacher ever again.
Oh my gosh. I also remember, I think this was at Sunday school at church, but I remember getting in trouble for coloring people purple. I gave them purple skin. And they're like, no, color it like, you know, how you're supposed to. And I was like, this is beautiful. Stop critiquing me. I love this.
Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty like I'm visualizing the book in my head. The cover of the book was purple, so I wanted them to match. I wanted them to have purple skin to match the cover of the book. But apparently that's all wrong.
Well, yeah.
Trying to put me in a box. Ooh. So we've got just a little bit of time for one more wild childhood story.
Is it like
You got
have you
anything
saved the
crazy?
best
Just
for last?
pull it out right now. Yeah. I mean, I have some more. They are kind of violent.
Oh, is it about the time you like threw a brick at your brother or something?
No, that's not what happened.
Oh.
Not at all what happened.
You hit him in the head with a log?
No, he hit me in the face with a log
Oh.
and broke my nose.
Oh, he broke your nose?
Yes,
Like broke your nose?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was bleeding.
Doesn't mean it's broken, right? Or does it?
I don't know.
I don't
It hurt
think
a
so.
lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was like, so my dad was like trimming the tree in the front yard. So we had all these logs everywhere. And I was like turning the corner of the house. And he was, for reasons that I will never know, swinging a log around in a circle and happened to whack me right in the face. So it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
See,
it wasn't like he was
hit
trying
him,
to hurt me.
It was on purpose.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah. So there was this time he was jumping on the bed and my dad would come in and he'd yell at me to stop. And I was like, bro, do you not see what's happening right now? I am playing nicely on the floor and Matthew's jumping on the bed. And he just kept doing it. And like, I couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
So I like snapped. And I threw like, I think I threw like some plastic toy. It wasn't heavy, but it just gave him a little cut. Just a little cut in the eyebrow. just enough to have some stitches.
You get stitches, yeah. So rude.
But you know what?
It was worth it.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I don't know. We've laughed about it since a lot of times. So
Yeah. Well, you guys obsess over it, so.
Oh man. Well, there was that one time you punched Tyler in the face and you cried, right?
Oh yeah, dude. All right, so my brother did this thing where he like pretend to try to kiss me. It would freak me out.
That's such a brother thing to do.
So I'm just like, so I remember talking to my dad about it, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to physically like stop him, like punching him or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I want him to stop, and he doesn't listen. And mom is just like, deal with it. My dad's like, the next time he does it, tell him to stop 3 times, and if he doesn't stop on the 3rd time, punch him in the face. And so I did. I punched him right in the face, and his lip like exploded because I guess I hit him hard. I don't.
Oh, so you busted his lip?
Yeah.
I thought you just punched him like,
no,
oh, ow.
There was blood everywhere.
Oh man.
So I thought it like.
So it was traumatizing.
Killed my brother or something. And so I was crying harder than he was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but he never did it again. He never tried to. Well,
yeah, I wouldn't either.
The only other time I felt like really bad was there was like this big hill where we used to camp. There's this big hill, and there's like the restroom on top of the hill. Mm-hmm. And we'd push our bikes up the hill and then ride down, and we get going really, really fast. Well, I didn't make him wear his helmet, and he biffed it hard, like into the rocks.
Aww.
And it cut up his head. Uh-huh. And you know how head injuries are. They just bleed and bleed and bleed a lot. And so we're like walking home. We just left our bikes, and he's just got blood running all down his face. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he still has pebbles, like right under the skin.
Oh, no way.
Spots. Yeah.
No, I don't believe you.
Yes, he does. Because we never went to the doctor or anything.
Of course not. No. Man, that's nuts.
Josh broke his arm on my head.
And you were asleep, and you stayed asleep, correct?
No, I definitely woke up.
Okay.
That hurt. So the dogs we were sleeping in a tent, and he like went to the trailer because at this point we had my parents had like a trailer, and it had a bathroom in it. So he went to the trailer to go to the bathroom, and the dogs barked at him and scared him, and so he like runs away from the trailer and just lunges into the tent and hits me right over the head with his arm. And I guess it just fractured it. I don't know, but he hurt it pretty bad, and he was crying the rest of the night.
Oh, poor Josh.
And we finished out the camping trip, didn't go to the doctor, nothing, and he was complaining about his arm or whatever, and my dad's just like, whatever, take some Tylenol. So
wakes up, chooses chaos.
We get home, and the minivan has these like auto retracting doors or whatever. They're like motorized.
Nice.
And so someone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like close the door real fast on him to like make him hurry up and get out of the car." So my dad, I guess, wasn't paying attention or whatever, and starts driving like down the driveway. Meanwhile, Josh is like jumping out of the car, and the door's closing simultaneously. So it like catches his foot, and he falls on his arm again.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure that's probably what broke it.
Because it was already injured, and
so they go to the ER, and my dad's explaining to them what happened, and they're like, "So your son jumped out of a moving car onto the concrete?" And they were like, my dad was like, I was like so sure they were gonna call CPS on us, and then Josh was like, "Oh, my brothers are gonna be so jealous of me."
Oh yeah, because they confirmed that he broke it, right?
Yeah, but he like, changed the mood, I guess, because they were like, "Oh, these are terrible parents," and then Josh was like, "I can't wait to show my brothers my cast and all this stuff."
Yeah.
And so they were like, "Okay, these guys aren't too bad, I guess." I don't know.
Just rough boys, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's funny.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet childhood memories. Why does so
was
much
it Tyler
violence?
Or Josh? It was Josh, right?
Oh yeah, Josh.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Why does so much violence occur between siblings?
What do you mean violence?
Just carnage.
You call that violence? That's not even. That's like
you're like close. You're like, you don't know anything.
Yeah, like we'd fight every single day probably. Not like fist fight, but we'd get each other back.
I don't even want to know what our kids are gonna get into. Well, yeah, 3 boys.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the fighting, the physical fighting was very minimal between me and Matthew because we're brother and sister, and I'm the oldest, being female. I guess I would de-escalate most situations.
I have no idea.
But yeah, with 3 boys, I imagine that got pretty crazy.
Yeah. Good times.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your stories.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your weird stories.
My weird childhood obsessions and stories.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a million more of them. I just can't think of them right now.
I don't think you need any more.
I bet I probably have some weird obsessions in adulthood that I could talk about, but no one wants to hear that. It's funny when you're a kid. It's not so funny when you're an adult.
Like now?
Probably not obsessions. Maybe
Obsession strong word.
Yeah, maybe obsession is a strong word. Interests.
Oh yeah, you like true crime.
Interests. Yeah,
and
true. Well, a lot of people do. It's not something that's super unique.
Yeah, but it's morbid.
Well, okay, I have to get my true crime from good sources. Like there's a podcast I listen to that's it's a Christian podcast, but every once in a while they'll tell a true crime story.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it in a way that ends with the truth and like the positive, glimpse of eternity. Because if you don't and you just rest in the evil, that gets pretty dark. I remember I was listening to one girl who would talk about that, and it just got to be too much. I was like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
Too dark. But yeah, what time are we at? I think we hit an hour already. So
yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. And if you have any suggestions of what we should talk about next week, you should leave it in the comments if you're on YouTube. I don't think you can leave comments on our website. But if you hop on over to YouTube, you can leave a comment.
Yeah, there you go.
And you can like and subscribe.
Oh my God. Alrighty.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.